Today, I'm going to tell you a story about why this watch, whoop, is a watch that I'll never jump out of a plane without again. Because the one time I didn't jump with it, I almost died. And if you've never been to this series before, I'm Tyree, this is Wrist Unwound, and in this series we talk about watches with meaning and how oftentimes the watch's price point doesn't even touch how valuable it is to us. And so in these series, I'm going to talk about the specs of the watch just so you have an idea of what I'm talking about, but more importantly, the story of why this watch is meaningful to me. So starting with this one, the Timex Expedition North Titanium can be found on the Timex website, eBay, and Amazon. The prices new are going to range at $350. On eBay, you can typically get it in the 270s. The lowest I've ever seen it was $170, which was really just a straight bargain. But just make sure to look at your options if you decide you want to buy this watch. But for me, I actually didn't pay for this one. This one was a gift. You see, in the military, when you take command of a company, it's usually accompanied by a ceremony. And so originally, and most of the times, the ceremonies are typically just at a podium, you give some speeches, you shake some hands, kiss some babies, and then you're good to go. But in the company that I took, we decided to do it a little bit different. And so what we did is we actually jumped out of a plane and ran up to the ceremony. And so the watch that I had originally planned on wearing for the ceremony didn't quite work out the way I thought it would. But then I talked to my aunt and I said, Amy, you want to go ahead and give me a little gift for my ceremony? Mostly joking, but she actually sent it to me. And so the first time I ever wore it is when we jumped out of the plane. And the jump, I'm not going to lie, did not go exactly as planned. And so as we jumped out of the plane, I exited one door, my first sergeant exited the other door, and it was an offset. But for some reason, as we came down underneath the plane, his parachute actually became below mine. And if you've ever done an airborne operation, that's called stealing your air. And so what happens is when the person comes underneath, you start to go significantly faster towards the ground. At the end of the day, all was well. I didn't land on top of him. We were able to conduct the ceremony and everything went good. But I was a little worried about, hey, is this watch good luck or bad luck? But I did continue to wear it every jump. But then one time I decided not to wear this watch. That was a mistake. And I don't think if it was the watch's fault, but either way, I wear it every time now. So during that jump, I wore my trusty Timex Ironman, which I actually wear for lots and lots of activities. It's probably the most worn watch in my collection. The Flicks edition. I have lots of Ironman. I have lots of Timexes, I guess, if you're talking about that. But what happened during this jump, which was nerve-wracking to say the least. So we're doing a night jump, combat equipment, and I'm the last man to jump out of the plane. And so typically in real world situations, if you're going to do an operation, you do want something more digital, more Garmin. I know you see a lot of collectors talking about field watches. If my life's on the line, I'm not wearing a field watch. I'm going to wear a digital watch that I don't have to worry about just being able to look at quickly at night. So this time we were doing an operation for training and I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to switch my watch. I'm going to go digital this time just so that I have everything that I need in case it's, we're doing the night movement. Last man out of the stick. We were doing the countdown and even in rehearsals, I had a feeling like, hey, something's not going to be right about this one. Let me just make sure I'm locked in and I'm focused. And so with 6 people left, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, and I'm watching each person in front of me jump. And then right as I hand off my static line, I hand it off 1 second, I turn to face the door, and I see the red light flash. When the red light flashes in an airborne operation, that means do not jump. But if you've already handed off the static line, it's almost more dangerous to try to stop. And so right as I get ready to jump, I look back. I see the jump master, and it's too late for him to stop me, and I jump out of the plane. As I jump out of the plane, because I didn't have that vigorous exit, my static lines were completely twisted. And so when your static lines are twisted, which are the lines that come out of your parachute, you grab them, you pull them, and you start kicking. I start kicking, start twirling, and when I look down, we were supposed to be jumping over an airfield, and I saw none of the airfield. All I saw was trees below me, and I just began to pray and to brace for impact. Long story short, I landed okay, there was no injuries, but the fear and the unluckiness of that jump has always stuck with me. And since then, I have never not worn that titanium watch with me. And so just talking about the stories of these watches, I think with this one in particular, not only do I think it's a good luck charm when jumping, but I also think it's a great memory of my aunt. She's still with us, by the way. But Every time I wear it, I just think about her love. I think about her support. I think about taking command and the great honor that it is to be able to command soldiers and command rangers. And so for me, that's the value that this watch has. It really has more meaning than the price point can ever put on it, and I can't imagine there'd be any reason that I would ever sell it out of my collection. Well, I thank you for staying in, for listening to me talk about a personal story of my watches. If you thought this was interesting, make sure you like the video, make sure to subscribe, and also just leave a comment of any watches and stories that you have below. I would love to hear the kind of feedback that you guys have different watches in your collection that have special meaning. Also, if you've ever jumped out, airborne all the way, and if you're Rangers, Rangers lead the way. God bless and peace.